Hey, I'm Adam Katz for DogTrainerToolbox.com as well as the Dog Trainer Marketing Group on Facebook. Today I'm joined by Justin Ward of Ward's Dog Training outside of Dallas or in Dallas, Texas, the only Dallas, hopefully the only Dallas, and wanted to talk to Justin about how he's working his Facebook leads. Justin's been running, I think we've been running ads for Justin for a little over a year, maybe somewhere thereabout.
Yep.
And Justin has a pretty good little thing going in Dallas. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of what your business is like in general, and then we'll jump into talking about how you work the leads. A lot of people complain about Facebook leads not being good quality leads, about they're just nothing but junk leads. But I'm trying to feature more people on this channel who are having success with Facebook leads to show you that there's a way to work the leads to really get good results. So anyways, tell me a little bit about first about what the size of your business. Is it just you? Do you have staff? And how is your business kind of set up?
Yeah. So I have 10 staff right now. I have 5 trainers under me. Probably 3 to 4 of them are full time. Um, and my location about 20 minutes south of Dallas. And then I kind of make a V. So you go straight down from Dallas, and then I'm about 35 to 45 minutes northwest from Fort Worth.
Okay.
And so there's this line growing where Arlington, Mansfield, Midlothian, and a few more down the other way. But Arlington is where Dairy World is at, Dallas Cowboys,
Okay.
which is only about 30 minutes from us. And so I'm in a sweet spot where we're not too much in the city, but we're close enough to other things. So I pull a lot from the Fort Worth, Arlington area too.
Yeah, Justin,
But
all we really want to know is where's the good barbecue? Hmm.
there's a place. It's called Cooper's in Fort Worth. Fort Worth is probably
I've
your
heard of
place
that.
for
Yeah.
barbecue.
Nice.
Uh, there. So, I have 5 staff that I'm trying to be able to work full time and stuff or trainers. Um, I'm about to hit 9 years in business in February,
Nice.
and I've
Congratulations.
grown 100% every year, and a lot of that uh, the I can't think of the word I want, but a lot of that is because of the stuff I got from you through the years. So
Very
I
kind of you.
appreciate that. And so
What are the other staff members who aren't trainers? What roles do they fill?
I kennel techs mostly, and then I've got one office person. Well, she's a mix. She does office and training, so she does some of my phone calls and stuff too. So in the last year, um, we've really worked on the sales process. I've grown every year. And so the sales process, what we do, I have a guy that works for me out of the Philippines, is my phone setter. And so his job is to contact any lead. We use a system high level. So they all go into there from the ads or the website. And so if we don't pick the phone up right away, then it goes into that system, and then he is in charge of working them, getting them on the phone, do a little pre uh, interview with them, ask a couple questions.
Now
Uh,
let me jump in there because that's really interesting. So how did you find this gentleman in the Philippines, and what if you can share what do you pay for that? How many hours a week does he work?
so I was with another company for a little while and doing some business coaching stuff with it. And so he kind of got the process set up for me or taught me this process. And then they shut down, and then I had to piece this together last year. And so they had a bunch of people getting business coaching and stuff, and so they just had a whole group of staff from the Philippines that were working together, and they would work these leads, and so they'd spend like half a day on mine and then the other half on that other person's, and then have days off, whatever. So he was one of the 4 team members that were working on my original campaign. And so got connected with him, and said, "Well, why not?" He's already kind of knew the process.
Yeah.
Our our good grief, our man, drawing a blank. The
So what happens, you turn on the
deal.
camera
Yeah, yeah. Turn
and
on
the
the camera.
brain just
It's
drops
me.
out the side of your head.
But our script. He knew his
Mhm.
script and stuff, and the questions, the pre-questions. So it kind of lined up. He reached out to me, and he's been pretty good. I've been happy. And then the next piece from there, so his job is to kind of filter out anything if they're just wanting like simple potty training stuff and there's like no chance, or if they're just full tire kickers, that's kind of his job to filter that out. And then his job is to set up actual phone calls with um, my dad, Larry, and then whoever my office person is, usually at the time. And then that's when you get really more in depth on, okay, what's your problems? We do a grading system, grade your dog A to F, like a report card. Um,
And this is still on the phone.
yes.
Okay.
Yep. And so we're gathering all the information. They're filtering us, but we're filtering them, making sure that they're a client that we want to work with. Thankfully, I'm at a point I don't have to take everybody. We can work with most people, but there's some that you just don't, or maybe it's a special case that we don't want to deal with, or maybe it's better to go into another trainer, which we have no problem sending them to. My number one thing is I have to keep my staff safe. So, full blown aggressive dogs, I'm going to send out. But if they're a little, iffy, we'll probably deal with it. But so they get on the phone, and the call is supposed to take about 15 up to 30 minutes. And then their job is to sell in person evaluation, which is where then it comes to me. And then my job is to sign them up for a program and get them set up and collect the money. So that's how that process works. And so the my guy out of the Philippines, basically he's about $5 an hour, and doing research on Philippines, on people down there. I mean, that's what they're, $5 to $6, 6.50, $7 an hour. So you can't beat that. You might have to go through a few to find the one that, make sure that they're doing their work and have a way to hold them accountable. And what's helped is uh, my dad, Larry, is a big salesman, has always been, from printing stuff to he worked in a disabled on veteran business, doing big contracts of $1 million plus. So that's his whole life. And he's retired, and I won't let him fully retire. He was doing maintenance for me, and then at he got some physical issues, and then now he's doing his sales stuff, and he's eating it up. He loves it,
Nice.
and I can tell when the people come for their evaluations if they've talked who they talk to, and most of the time they say, "Oh, I love him so much" and stuff, and he just has this natural ability to talk to people, and it's helped a lot. He can warm them up if they're ice cold. He can get them warmed up, and will. And if he can't, then it's probably, hey, it's that they still might sign up, but it's probably like,
Right.
it's probably one you don't want to work with. So it's a. I kind of looked out because he has the training and experience, but he now holds weekly meetings with everybody that does the sales stuff, and so he does some sales training, and he helps. It's Romar out of the Philippines, is his name. So he helped him. So he's actually gained and he's improved
Right.
himself, which is helping. And then, then myself, um, I do, come in, go get more information from them, and then, sell them on what program I think's best for them, which we have private lessons or board and train. And then we do group classes too, but that's only twice a year that we do those. So it's board and train private lessons is what we do. And we do lifetime group classes and stuff. for follow-ups and things like that. Um, and then, get them signed up, get them going. Um, so what else can I answer that?
Let me
Yeah.
just a little bit more on the overseas help. So you're at about somewhere in the ballpark of 800 to $1,000 a month for somebody that's working for you basically 40 hours a week. And there's a huge benefit to them because I'm guessing they probably get to work out of their home.
Yes.
They don't have to commute to an office, or if they do, it's just a place that has an internet connection. And it's a win-win kind of scenario. So, and you don't have to pay, health insurance and everything else. So, um, I think it's fantastic. Just for the viewers at home watching this, you can go to onlinejobs.ph. It's kind of a service that will help you learn what you need to hire somebody like who Justin's using. And then another option is you just go to the Craigslist, like in Manila or Cebu City or any of the other cities in the Philippines, and frequently find somebody that's good. I think going through the onlinejobs.ph website, it's cheap. I want to say it's like 60 or 70 bucks a year or something, and it gives you access to their database. And you may need to, like Justin said, you may need to go through three or four people before you find one that's really good. But then, eventually you find one. And I would imagine my leg is hitting the desk and bouncing me. I look like I'm on a ship. I imagine this individual is fully fluent in English.
Yeah. So that's another big thing because when I had the group, multiple people working on it, my stuff before, there's a couple in there that uh, they were not uh, they were hard to understand or they spoke too fast and stuff. And so, in my area, you want people that you can understand and speak
Yeah.
very good English. And so that is a big thing. So he does that very well. That works great. He started out at 30 hours a week. That's what
Okay.
we started on. And he's basically been running about 34, 35. He's we trust him enough that he has permission. It's 6 hours a day, 8 to 12, and then 4 to 6. So
Okay.
he calls in the evening. Um, and then he has permission. Like this past weekend, we got 30 leads in 2.5 days. So Monday is it's a lot of work to do. So he'll work 8 hours that day.
Gotcha.
Probably about to move him up somewhere between the 35 to 40 hour mark as my leads are the number of leads are increasing.
Let me make sure I understand. So you're basically having them jump through three hoops after they fill out the lead form. The first hoop is that your overseas worker calls them. Is it Roman? Is that what you said his name was?
Bromar.
Romar. Okay. I'll never remember that. I don't know how you do. But so Romar makes the initial contact with them, right? And how many times does Romar call? Like if they don't answer the phone initially, how many times does he follow up?
Yeah, so on high level, there we have this dashboard, and everybody has this card that you can move over. And so on his, it'll say day one contact, something like AM, PM contact, and day two contact, day three. I think there's 5 days in a row. And then he'll move them over until he gets connected with them. And then it'll, 1 week contact, second week, third week, and then 3 months down the road. And so there's a whole line of it. And to start off with, though, I would probably tell you he'll make 5 to 8 phone calls. And I'm talking about dials the phone number and calls them and tries to talk to them in person. They'll send follow up text, and then we'll send follow up email through the system too.
Okay.
So that's quite a few contacts to start with. And our goal is to contact them until they tell us to stop.
Good,
Uh,
good. What percentage would you say pick up the first time?
um, that's on the kind of the trick we found is if you have a call set up, if you have calls that are set up, you call them and then wait a minute and call them back, and they're picking up more on the second time. Is what
Call
we
them, you mean call them and then immediately call them back?
Yeah, pretty
Oh,
much.
that's gold. That's gold. Yeah. I like that.
That's what we've kind of found. I mean, I can't throw a percentage out there. I don't know. Um, the other thing that's so with this process, um, you know, and I'm just open and honest, and I'm not buying anything, but we increased our sales by 200,000 last year. Uh,
Doing what? Doing Facebook ads?
yeah, with Facebook ads, doing the sales process.
I see.
So having the phone setter and then set up for the, I guess, in-person consultation, then come in for to close them out. So the whole process here that we're talking about allowed us to do that. And then my goal this year, what we're working on is picking up the phone when it rings first
Right.
time,
Right.
ourselves, because I know when they're calling from the Facebook ads because a certain number pops up. And so then I'm like, oh, you know, I'll let it go. And I'm guilty of that, or whoever's running the phone that day that, well, I'm doing this. And so this year I've tasked the staff, they run the phones, hey, I don't care what number it is, pick the phone up. And so I think that's gonna, because I think everybody knows when they call, you got a higher chance of getting them there, and that's gonna just further improve,
Yep.
from what we did last year.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Here's a hot tip that somebody literally just told me, was that a lot of times your caller ID will come up, the call will come up as spam. And he was saying answer those ones too, because about 50% of those aren't spam. And so if you're
Right.
afraid to talk on the phone, number one, not good. But number two, if you're looking at that saying, oh, we're getting spam calls, but you're not picking them up, you might want to start picking them up, as much of a pain in the ass that is, because, half the time it is a spammer. But the other 50% of the time, shoot, if you can get one additional lead a day just because, you weren't picking up the phone before, now you are, that's huge.
Oh yeah. And the other thing, so my goal is, well, I'm not working the phones anymore, for sales or anything. And if I'm just kind of out there supervising things and the phone rings, hey, I'll pick it up. But
Right.
I don't want to do a phone consultation. I don't want to take the time for that. My job is to sell them when they come in.
Right, right.
So,
And eventually you want to replace yourself in that role too. So,
yeah, and
that's the eventual goal, I think. One of the things that I find really interesting is that so you've got basically for an overseas virtual assistant that you're spending, I don't know, anywhere between 800 to $1,000 a month, maybe a little bit less. Plus, I would gather anywhere from was $150 to $400 a month in your software plus your Facebook ads, you've increased just this year over last year, 200,000 in top line revenue, which is phenomenal.
yeah,
You should be really
really.
proud of yourself.
Oh yeah. And couldn't have done it without a lot of pieces and a lot of different people, but it's uh it's pretty cool, pretty nice. And my staff, I will brag on them. They do a great job with the clients. We get our reviews come in pretty regular, and they're good, nice reviews. So
Do
I've
you have
got
a system for that too, or do they just post when they post?
Um, I've gotten our staff more comfortable to ask for them,
Okay.
because like the clients will be like, "Oh man, you're so great! Thank you very much for all your
Mhm.
help with my dog Fido." And I said, "Ask them
Yeah.
right there for that." And this year I'm going to try to do some was it video or testimonials.
Yeah.
Actually get them on video because I haven't ever done that. But I ask for them now, group classes,
Mhm.
uh, and some will go if they say they're going to do it. Most will go home and do it if they say they're going to do it. Some will forget,
Yeah.
Um, but and then we just getting some in that are just coming in without being solicited, So that's uh, the staff I have is pretty good with customer relations.
Great, great. That's the way to do it is when you get the compliment, you immediately have the staff members say, "Hey, would you take the phone out? Would you mind if I just recorded you saying that for the website right then and there?" So anytime
Yeah.
there's a compliment, there's a pitch for the video, and then you may have to, sweeten the pot a little bit for the employee by giving them an extra gift card or,
Yeah,
$20 or
so
something.
we just started. I always shut down for 2 weeks, Christmas and New Year's every year, got to recharge and everything. And so we just came back yesterday and had our staff meeting of the first one of the year. And the new thing this year, they get a review that has to mention their name. They get a $25 gift card, and if it's a change of life uh, review or testimony, it'll be about 125 bucks.
What explain that to me? What is a change of life testimonial?
Yeah, or it's just a review that, something like, thank you so much. You changed I mean, you don't have to use the wording, but changed my life. I was at my wit's end. This dog was going to have to be put down. And, now I don't ever have to worry about it doing, this again or pulling me down the street or, something where it's just a big, you can tell, like,
This
you
saved
made,
my marriage. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, something big, So, that's
love it,
kind of
love it.
a thing that I'm doing to entice the staff to even further ask for reviews. And I may end up getting a little competition going with who can collect the most reviews, because most of the staff, we do uh, go home for the boarding trains, but then most have about an equal number of private lessons too. So, like do about the same amount of lessons. So, and group classes too. So there's some ideas floating around that I'll probably get to here soon.
So if you were, God forbid, you lost everything tomorrow and you had to start over, obviously you're going to do, most of it yourself, but would the virtual assistant be the first person you hired, or would it be somebody else?
Um, yeah, I guess the first person I would hire would be someone else that can help train,
Okay.
uh, and then go to the virtual assistant or a phone person. Um, was the way I would go.
Okay. So you initially for the first whatever 6 months or a year, you'd be working the lead yourself. You'd be making those calls.
Yeah, yeah.
How important do you think calling the leads is?
Oh, that's very important. And I'll tell you, I hate to think about because did Google Ads with you and for a long time and when it was just me doing this before I had this process, I'd call them once and leave a voicemail and that was it. And I hate to think how much money I
When you
burned.
have
And then like a year, 2 years later, I finally started, okay, I'm gonna, reach back out and then send a text. I'm old school, and so I don't like text. It's informal, but
Agreed.
everybody does it now. So I finally have just given in, but call them, leave a voicemail if you can. And if you can't, I'll tell them in the text, hey, your voicemail is full. But that way, because we had a issue with one of the leads last year. Lady said, left a 1-star review. Y'all don't pick your phone up and y'all don't call anybody back and y'all don't respond to anything and never call me and whatever. And went back through on high level and my guy called her 9 times and it
Mm.
showed. And it showed her that she responded once. So we screenshotted everything because, I was 1-star review and let them work with us. And so we said, look, here's what the deal is, and showed it to her. And then she did go take the review off. You
Nice.
know, and she didn't ever come in to work with us, but uh,
At
you
least you
know,
took the review off. Yeah.
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 Uh,
Really, really good. Wow. So, what would you do differently? I don't want to keep you too much longer because I promised you it'd be a 10-minute interview, but you're a pretty interesting guy and I like talking with you.
thank you.
What would you do differently if you were starting over today, with your dog training business?
I would have gotten on so let's see, about 9 years ago, I didn't really know anything about Facebook ads. I really don't know when they kind of got big and came out. So Google Ads was the first one. I would have got on that sooner, bit the bullet on that,
Mhm.
and um,
And let
worked
me
with
just
leads.
interject real quick. You actually stopped your Google ads because the Facebook ads was working so well, or are you currently running Google ads?
No, I have stopped those as of middle of November.
Okay.
Um, and I was getting about 25 leads a month, and I mean, I was spending mm, $2,500, $3,000,
Yeah.
and the leads for a while. I mean, that's what I used to just strictly run on, and it was great. But these leads were not any good, and the everything was coming from Facebook. Um,
Gotcha.
and then now, so I have, Facebook ads is probably my number one way I get leads. And then my second, being in business 9 years, and I'm kind of I say I'm sitting in a gold mine down here. So, not to tell any other trainers to move down here, but we got plenty of trainers around, and most of us are good friends around here and stuff, or do stuff together. And so there's it's a good community down here. But word of mouth, now that I've been 9 years entrenched, and then all the vets refer to me, that are around, and we have probably, I don't know, 6 in town. And then
Fantastic.
there's other towns over that, they send them over just because the clients have raved about us. And so, I know there's a few trainers that might listen to this there in the area, but I'll just, take care of those vets, do something special for them a couple times a year, and that'll help you a lot.
Yeah, good advice. Although I am going to beg to differ with you a little bit in that I know that there absolutely are certain areas of the country or the world for that matter that are better than others. You know, certain markets respond better to ads. You have a lower cost per lead, all of that. But really, the gold mine is you. If I had a choice between a great market versus a great operator, the dog training individual in this case, Justin being the operator, I'd choose the operator and put him in a mediocre market every single time versus a mediocre operator in a great market. And so that's the main takeaway I'm putting out for those of you at home is to invest in yourself, invest in your business, but the better you can get at being a business person. You know, everybody loves to go to dog training seminars and to become a better dog trainer, and that's important to an extent. Because again, we are talking about pet dogs here, which is like I don't need to keep going to seminars to learn how to tie my shoes. And the correlation is not one to one. I get that. You will get better. You become a better dog trainer. You'll be able to provide a better service going to dog training seminars. But what I see 9 times out of 10 is that dog trainers go to seminars to learn to be better dog trainers when they're already pretty good fucking dog trainer. And what they're not is a good business person. And if you want to help more dogs, if you want to help more dog owners, you have to work on that part of the equation. And what I see from Justin is he's got a really good. I've known this for a long time because even before I was running Facebook ads, I was, 3, 4 years ago, I was running Google ads, and he was a client for us back then. And then I ended up selling the agency and switching my focus to Facebook ads. But even back then, it was obvious that Justin had his head screwed on the right way, and he understood the importance of running an efficient, clean business and taking care of the clients and meeting their needs and how to do all that. Because there's no end to, I could throw a rock and hit 3 or 4 really great dog trainers, but the number of great dog trainers who are also great business owners, that's a much smaller percentage. So to
Yeah.
those who say it's all about just, why don't you talk more about training dogs? There's tons of people talking about being a better dog trainer. It's not that many people talking about being a better dog training business owner in order to help the owners and to help the dogs.
Yeah, definitely. And it's been a blast, doing this and learning this, and I've got, I guess, the gift to talk from my dad a lot. And I've built things, for this, worked YMCA and did stuff in the Boy Scouts and stuff, and growing up. So I was always in front of people, and so I wasn't always, you get your normal nervous stuff, but I wasn't over the top, like having, just breakdowns there. So I've been fortunate there, and but my thing. So I'm not really don't train dogs anymore right now. At this moment, I'm really building and scaling and running the business.
Mhm.
Uh, I'll help. I still teach my group classes and stuff, and a lot of my clients I have messed with their dogs. But that's what I have the trainers for, and I invest in my trainers. Um, but eventually I'd like to get back to where I can just pick and choose. Hey, when I want to come in and mess with the dog, just find the dogs that I love that I think are just cool.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. Did you have a background did you have another business before the dog training business?
no, I do have my bachelor's in business, that degree. I always want to own my own business. Growing up, and just random stuff. I wanted to own tool store and different things. But never. When I guess I grew up a little bit and never really thought about it. And then one of my mentors was like, "Why don't you look at drug dogs?" I was like, well, that's interesting. And so I did research and found that was hard to get into, but then there's this whole pet dog world and man, that's kind of how I got started. I was always around animals and stuff, happiest with dogs and being worked with farm animals a little bit. So I'm good. I'll never say that I'm the best, but I can read body language pretty good. And then but working at clients is important. I hear so many trainers, man, I can't leave my business or just, set up. And I know I'm kind of trying not to ramble all the way, but I'm going to have my business set up and I've already have it where I can leave and go on a trip.
Very
And
important.
and pretty relaxed. I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck month to month. Um, and so I figured out things through help of other people and you. It's been a big part of that. Um, but you can't do it yourself. You can do it. You'll do a lot yourself. But I've got the trainers that will train for me, and everything will work. And um, it's I don't want to be stressed all the time, and so that's why I'm working to get more stress off of me. Not that I'm overstressed on it, but um,
Systems, yeah.
yeah.
I think it's the difference between being an owner operator and an owner, what like Michael Gerber says, working on the business rather than working in the business. And it sounds like you've accomplished, that to at least some extent.
Yeah. I'll tell you my big goal for this year. I was talking to a couple of my trainers too. I said I just want to be known. Um, Number one, I'll tell you, I don't operate by the customer is always right. I hate that
Mhm.
saying. I don't like that, and I will argue with anybody on that. But I do want to take care of my clients, take care of the customers, treat their dogs like family. I tell them, hey, when you sign up with us, you're coming into a big dog training family. We want you here. We want your dogs here. And the dogs, they know when they pull into the drive and their dogs go crazy. Or at group classes, before I start group class, I go around to every client and every dog and say hello, and their dogs go nuts. They break all their commands to get to me.
Wow.
And so they know that I care and stuff, and that's another reason why we have the vets and other things. I want people to come out saying, man, their customer service, they were so great. We might not be the smartest dog trainers. Now we're good, and the trainers are good, but I don't care about being internationally known or anything. I just want to take care of the community around here.
Yeah.
And, I love talking business stuff and dog stuff with other business owners. It's kind of don't think things should be secret, just have a conversation and help each other out. And that's just kind of the way I like to go by. And so
Yeah,
always
that's
open for
that's a really good
conversation.
point because a lot of times, a client may not be right for you or for your
Yeah.
organization, but it could be great for somebody else. And maybe it's just a personality issue. It
Oh
has
yeah.
nothing to do with the dog or what the owner's goals are, but you just don't like them or they don't like you or whatever. So,
Yeah. And if they're not comfortable, and I'll tell them, I'll be the first to tell them, hey, if you're not comfortable, don't sign up because if something goes wrong, it's going to be worse than what it could be, you know. And if I can tell, so, you know, knowing your trainers in your area is an important thing because I kind of know, hey, this trainer can service this person real good. Their personalities will fit right, and things. And so I think that's an important thing. And so, you know, I've sent plenty out to multiple different trainers that I know and respect their work. Um, and you know, you don't have to take everybody if they're going to be a headache. And but that's another thing. They're going through the hoops. By the time they get to me, it's a you know I can't necessarily tell you my closing rate right now, but it's not some are a slam dunk, but not all the time. Um, but that rate is if they show up. It's probably 70%, maybe up to 80. Kind of, it
Mhm.
fluctuates, it flows, ebbs and
That's where you
flows.
should be. Yeah.
Um, but so if they're going through those hoops, they're gonna already be more locked in and understand and it's been fun. It's my dad, I'll tell Larry he's a city boy, and so I always got to teach him how to work around animals and stuff just growing up because I did do an FFA and all that. And now I'm teaching him about dog training. And I mean, he's been good with dogs. He's always an animal lover himself, but teach him, what this means, what that means in the situations. And now he's kind of aware. He kind of knows if we get a phone call and yeah, it's not one that we want to handle, and he has a list of who to send them to, and he can kind of figure that all on his own.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
that's fun to do.
Yeah. Yeah, really, for those who don't know, I've owned three dog training businesses myself over the past 30 years. And maybe just getting older or, having an online business while I had the dog training business, I had lower tolerance for bullshit. And there would be at least once a month, I'd be referring people out to other dog trainers and other dog trainers in the area just because I didn't want to deal with it. And so that those relationships with other dog trainers in your area, they're important. I mean, you want to know who you should be sending people to and who you shouldn't be sending people to.
Yeah,
So that's don't you don't have to think of them as like unfriendly competition. You could be friends with them and be nominally competitors. And the truth is, there's enough dogs out there for everyone.
yeah, and this area is growing like crazy. So there's plenty.
I think what I've noticed is that because of the internet, I think any place that's good, any place that's nice, seems to be growing. I mean, it's just, people figure out, oh, that's a nice area and they want to move to that area. There's jobs in that area, they want to move to that area, which, for a local small business like you and the people watching this, it's phenomenal because these people move. A lot of them get a new dog or they have an existing dog. They move into a new house and suddenly they're having some kind of issues walking the dog around the neighborhood or house training or whatever it is.
Yeah,
So yeah, I really think that the future does look bright for this business and for your business specifically. So
thank you.
one final question, and then we'll wrap it up. Where do you see yourself, and where do you see your business in 5 years?
So in short, I run the business off my property. I have a building that we can house about 25 dogs in. And in 5 years, I see myself on a couple acres standalone facility that can handle 50 to 150 dogs, basketball gym size, indoor training area, dock diving agility. I want to have kind of the biggest place around
Nice.
in the county and stuff. But I mean, with that, I want the best customer service and provide the best service all around. I'm also got my eyes on starting another business, a sports card hobby shop that here the next year and a half, I
Fun.
think will be happening. So I'm getting things set up now so I can be able to step away and then um, you know, that's what I can kind of tell you the next 5 years. I've got I want maybe jump in some real estate and other things, but those two things, take it day by day and take up a lot of time and got to make time for family too.
Yep.
because if I don't, I'll get in trouble. But no, I that's important. Travel with the family, whether it's just your spouse or kids too.
Yeah.
We do that a lot, so kind of know what I have to do to be able to do all that.
Right, right. Perfect. Well, hey, I can't thank you enough for setting a little bit of time outside of your day to join me here and reveal, some of your nuggets of wisdom and knowledge and everything else. And love to do this again at some point because
Yeah,
I think you're fantastic. I think you come across, you speak really well. You communicate your thoughts, clearly. I think that's probably a big part of your success as well. I'd like to encourage any of you, if you have questions for Justin, he is a member of our Dog Trainer Marketing Group at Facebook. And if you are interested in Facebook ads, check out dogtrainertoolbox.com. And if you're not interested in Facebook ads, but you're interested in Google Ads or SEO or business coaching or whatever it may be, or you need some help with learning more about how to field the phone consultations or the in-person consultations, we've got info product trainings for that as well at dogtrainertoolbox.com. We'll talk to you soon, guys.